Good morning, everyone. I did a live announcing who the Passive Forward recipients were. So if you were those recipients, and yes, I did comment on the comment that you did win, but I also wanted you to go on to the live video so that you could see your name pulled out and make sure, feel comfortable that that was not a scam. But anyway, I'm back. I'm working on a UFO. I showed some of that in the live and what to do and how my process was. So now I'm going to show you how I actually am sewing and joining the rows. So quickly, let me show you what I've got going on over here. This is part of my UFO. These are the blocks. I explained in the last video, you can go back to last video and watch it. It was the live video on how this is a UFO. This came from this book right here. It's from Susan Aki right there. It's called, Lifeboats, I believe. Airboats. It's called Airboats. And how I'm tackling this is the way I tackle UFOs. I just take what I have, reinvent it, make a layout that brings me joy, and that is what I'm doing today. So I'm going to bring you back over to the machine. As you can tell, my machine is out of commission. I think a couple videos ago I told you it was doing something strange, and it just finally decided to lose its mind. So that's in the corner. Unfortunately, it cannot be worked on until February. I called the shop already and made an appointment. So I brought out my FOF Hobby 1200 Grand Quilter. This thing is a workhorse. So I pulled her out, oiled her up, got her all set up, and we're going to be using her. Thank goodness, this is another reason why I just use the blocks, because you should really use the same machine, they say, to sew a quilt together. And being that I basically had the blocks made, I'm only joining everything with the same machine, so I'm not coming across any problems. So to make a whole row of what I just did there, just to kind of show you, this could apply to any other kind of sashing blocks to quilt blocks, any sashing to quilt blocks. Sorry, sometimes my language is a little crazy, and I apologize. I'm aware of it. But anyway, so you take your block, you put your sashing. This is the way I do it. There's millions of ways. You do what makes you happy. I put my sashing piece on top of the block, and I go in with 1/4 of an inch. I apologize. This machine is a lot louder than my other machine. This machine is just a straight stitch, but boy, does it work. This was the machine that I used prior to my long arm. I had this machine on an Inspire frame, and that is how I quilted my past quilts. So this has really has given me lots of love over the years. Though it is only a straight stitch machine, so I can't do any of my decorative stitches. That's why I do need to have that other one fixed. So I do like my wave stitch to put on my binding sometimes. Let's see, line everything up. Sometimes taking the time to line things up is a good thing. Pinning is a good thing. You know, sometimes I pin and sometimes I don't. You know, with this not being inset into my machine, I find that I need to pin more. So now I have a sashing on 3 of my blocks and 1 block on the side. And I come in here, let me grab these scissors. And this is the first one. Now, they make, let's see if I could find them. Maybe I can find them, maybe not. Nope. One day I will have to show you. I have Mara Lee's pins, and I find those can keep your rows straight because you can number the blocks. Put that underneath. So I know that this is my first block that I started with, and I come over and put on my next block to my sashing. Sorry if this isn't making sense to anyone, but here's my sashing. There's the block that I'm joining. Now this is my third block in that row, and I'm attaching the last block that does not have a sashing piece onto it. All right, now clip off the back here. And this is my first block. My second block, this has a sashing piece. I come in here. Do miss all my fancy buttons on my Aria though. And I add this block with all its pieces onto the sashing piece. And I start joining them. And as I join them, you will see that I have an entire row done with my sashing. So right now, I had the turquoise block first. I'm going to come in here. And I had already joined these. So this was a sashing piece, one of my cornerstones, sashing piece, cornerstone, sashing piece, cornerstone. You don't have to add the cornerstones. I wanted to. So I am now taking this row. I have to make sure now because I don't remember how I took this off. Hold on. Just give me a second to see where I took this off. So I took this off. This is where I am, so you can see. I took this off of, this comes here. See, sometimes you have to revisit to where you were so you don't get lost. Well, you know what? I may have made a mistake because that doesn't match. So we're not going to sew this one to that sashing piece. I'm going to have to rip out the sashing. But as you can see, this top row, I have put like, I went across. So this sashing matches this sashing, and then this sashing should be here that matches, which should be this right here. But I did something wrong here. So we're not going to go with that. We're going to go show you how to join this row to this sashing. And I just kind of pick them up like this, and then I know this is how I'm joining them. Again, this is kind of just my method. It's what works for me. At this point, I do pin. I do pin because I want to make sure that I have a nice, crisp cornerstone, that they fit right there, perfect matched points on the corners, because I guess they're not points, they're corners. So I come in and I pin right there. So as you can see, these seams are going in and these seams are going out so that they nest. I come in and throw a pin at the beginning. I go to the next cornerstone and I pin by nesting those seams again. And it does take time, you know. But everybody can quilt how they want. If you don't want things, you just want to go and not match any seams, that's fine, because it's your quilt. You have to be happy with it. I found that as I'm aging, figure, right? As I'm getting older and I'm getting more experienced in quilting, I find that those things bother me. They never used to before. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't think I really bothered nesting seams or pinning or making sure I didn't cut off points, but I do now. I do now, because now they bother me. And then if it wasn't, it wouldn't make me happy. But again, you have to do what brings you joy. All right, so as you can see, I pinned everything. And I'm gonna come in here, and everything matched. I got lucky. Everything just settled down and matched and nested perfectly. Sometimes it doesn't, but this time it does. Knew it sounded weird. Haha, bobbin. Ran out of bobbin. I could hear it in this machine. Not my other machine, but I hear it in this machine. It makes a different noise. So you would just go all the way across when you sew. I'm not going to change the bobbins. Take too long. I'll just show you what you end up with. And then you end up with something that looks like this. And then what you would do is you would take this, which was my first row, and this was my second row, and you would then join these two rows together. And again, I pin, you don't have to. You would pin to nest the seams, and then you would get a giant, and you just keep going from row to row, and you would have a nice big quilt when you're done a quilt top. I'm not sure what I'm doing with borders. I know I'm going to put a white, something white around there, and I don't know if I'm going to do like an inner border and then do an outer border. I haven't figured that out yet, but I want to be done with this UFO and be happy with it and move on to either my next UFO or that Mon Cherie quilt. I have it right over there. It's just I'm kind of forcing myself a little bit to get these UFOs that I had from last year out so that we can start the new year fresh. I do have to show you something because some people have mentioned my PJs, and I just actually got these on Kohl's. They were so cute. I went there the other day and I said, oh my goodness, this pastry queen needs these little ducks who are high fashion ducks. And this does not fit me. It is about 3 or 4 sizes too big, but anyway, who cares? They're PJs, they're comfy, and I love them. They bring me joy. So have a wonderful day. Look, I have to push it. Have a wonderful day. Pass it forward if you can. If you like my videos, please subscribe and like them. You're also welcome to share them. I think there's something called the bell notification that will let you know when I have a new video or I go live, because I can go live now. I just figured out, and I got to still figure some things out with it, but I'm kind of really excited. And I want to thank everyone. I really deep down, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed and supported, or who has even watched and hasn't subscribed yet. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, but I just want to thank you so much. I am almost at 500 subscribers. I don't even know how I did it, because I'm flying by the seat of my pants. I'm not proclaiming to be the best quilter out there. I'm more proclaiming that I'm a blogger or a vlogger, bringing you through my quilting adventure this year. And that's all I can offer you, is just, to be there with you, talk to you, respond to your comments. I've met a lot of YouTubers in person at the International Quilt Festival. That was so cool. I'm hoping to meet some others in person. And it's going to be an exciting year. Full of fun. I have no idea what, but I'm always up for an adventure. So thank you so much for all your support. Have a fabulous day.